This edition of Mac Voices is sponsored by Casper, the mattress with just the right sink, just the right bounce to give you the best night's sleep of your life. Visit casper.com/MacVoices to get yours for $50 off using the code MacVoices. Mac Voices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, you should recognize Nick Mattingly. We've had him on the show a couple times. He's from Switcher Studio, but this time he's here in a working capacity because Switcher Studio is doing a whole lot of shooting in Vegas. Nick, it's great to see you.
You too. Thanks for having me out.
And finally in person. And you're not no longer this high.
Yeah, I'm the full, I don't know what it is.
Full resolution. Yeah. So what are you doing here? What all is Switcher Studio doing, as I know it's more than one thing?
Yeah, so we're spreading the word. We want people to know about what we're doing. We have Switcher in action. We've teamed up with Randy Altman from Post Perspective, and we're doing interviews every morning from 9 a.m. to noon. Also helping out with Media Motion Ball and Super Meet Monday and Tuesday with broadcast speed and the NAB live coverage. So we're all over the place and hooked in pretty good. So.
Have we mentioned sleep, Nick?
Who needs it? You can't get anything done when you sleep.
Yeah. And it's Vegas, right? You don't sleep in Vegas. So it's a little bit tough for us to show here, but you've got quite a nice little setup here, multicam and everything that you're using, and using Switcher Studio to control it all.
Yeah, so for the shoot here at NAB, we've got 2 iPad minis. We're using the iOgrapher cases and some Manfrotto lights. We've got an iPod Touch, and we're using those as our 3 sources. So we have a wide shot, and we're shooting across. So we have a tight shot for the hosts and the people that are being interviewed. And then we also have an iPad Pro that's set up that is running the whole rig. So we've got title cards and lower thirds and all the good stuff, and we're making the edits on the fly. And we'll be putting them online for people to watch.
Now, is this streaming live, or is this being recorded to be released later?
We're using the director mode capability, so we're capturing these and then we'll upload afterwards. We've tried live at NAB a couple times before. You spend a whole lot of money and it never works, so we thought we'd stick with the capture and push it out afterwards.
Yeah, the infrastructure thing we still haven't quite worked out. The switching and all we got, but the other not so much.
Maybe 2020.
Yeah. What are you doing at the Media Motion Ball and Super Meet?
So we are working with Broadcast Beat, which is doing the official NAB live coverage, and we're going to be interviewing attendees and vendors and pre-packaging some quick interviews to put out on NAB Live. It'll be on the NAB website.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You guys got to be loving the iPad Pro, the full-size one for a control surface.
Oh, it's great. It's really easy to set everything. It gives us some more options for development that we can look at down the road. There's the new iPad Pro that was just announced a couple weeks ago that's the same size as the iPad Air, and it's got just as much under the hood, so we're really excited to see these things keep improving.
Nick, should I be surprised that you decided on iPad minis? That's the only thing that surprises me about the whole setup. And the iPod Touch I think we talked about, but the minis surprised me just a little.
I mean, they're great. They look like cameras at the end of the day. With director mode, we're recording at 1080p, and there are devices that support that. So, the iPod Touch has the same camera as the iPhone 6, so they make great cameras as well.
It's a nice, compact little setup. I mean, the booth is not huge, and it doesn't need to be, but you've got more than enough gear here. And I see these other people toting around these huge rigs, and you've got it all. You could be streaming if you had the infrastructure. So really works nice.
If it weren't for tripods, we would have had our whole setup in one bag. We're in a 10x10 booth, and we've had 3 or 4 people on camera at a time. We've got people here set up. A couple years ago, this just wasn't possible. So if you're here at the show and you want to check it out, we're at the South Lower Hall. It's 8826. I had to look at my cue card, but yeah.
So anything new coming from Switcher Studio that you can talk about?
We talked a little bit on our last update about director mode and the YouTube integration. We have a new update just around the corner that's going to improve the quality between cameras even more. It's probably 2 times better than it is already. So for the real-time edits, or if you're doing live video, it's going to look great. We are also adding the ability to see the battery life and the remaining storage on all of the devices from the primary mixing interface, some more audio improvements, and just general usability fixes. And then later this summer, we have a big announcement we're going to tease. I'll keep you hooked in and tell you more about that.
All right, good. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
You don't want to tell me just a little? No, never mind. You're not going to do it. So one last question. Where did you get the shoes?
I think they were a Target special. My wife's been trying to get me to get a Hawaiian shirt forever, and I just can't bring myself to do it. But the shoes, I felt good about that.
I like it. It's very Vegas. It's very Vegas.
We'll get a shot when we wrap. So,
Nick, it's great to see you. Thanks for the time.
You too. We'll talk soon.
Folks, more from NAB in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at MacVoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting MacVoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.